So I've been driving around in this 2014 Range Rover Sport for a while now, and I'm not going to lie to you, it's actually quite a nice place to be. You know, the cabin is, I think, worthy of the $79,000 list price, or the asking price for this thing. I mean, granted, this one's highly optioned. This is around $90,000, but what you're getting in here is okay for that price, in my opinion. I mean, everything, every surface is covered in leather. You've got beautiful wood. You've got aluminum accents around speakers, you know, and on the steering wheel. There's not one aspect of this Range Rover that feels cheap. You feel like you're staying in a true luxury resort hotel. Now, the transmission on this car, it's an electronic 8-speed tranny, and you can either shift it manually via sport mode right here. So if I click it and then put it in, I can go up and down through the gears manually on the stick, or I can simply use the paddle shifts on the steering wheel, which, I'll be honest with you, is kind of fun. Now, you wouldn't think driving an SUV with paddles would be fun, but it kind of works in this thing. We've got 510 horsepower and 461 pound-feet of torque. I mean, you stop and think about it. 10 years ago, those were supercar numbers. So for an SUV to have that incorporated into it now is truly pretty amazing. The other thing is, the ride in this thing is wonderful. Now, I've got this thing in auto mode right now, which kind of senses road conditions and kind of does what it does to make you comfortable. But that doesn't mean I can't change it. I have settings here for, you know, off-road, for climbing, for snow, for rain, for if I want to carve canyons. And those are actuated by this little toggle knob. So I can press it, it actually rises up from the console, and then I can just rotate it down to whatever I want to put it in. So for instance, I just put this thing in sport mode, and the car is literally lowering itself down. It's a weird feeling how the air suspension does that, but you know, you do it once or twice, and then all of a sudden it's seamless and you don't even realize it. The grunt. I keep going back to the amount of grunt this thing has. It is ridiculous. I put my foot down and step on it, and the thing just, it launches. And it's so rare that a car like this actually makes me giggle, because SUVs are utilitarian items, right? They shouldn't make you giggle. But this one absolutely does. So I just pulled onto a great twisty road. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this thing out of automatic mode, switch it into sport mode, put the transmission in sport, and now I can actually play with the paddles. Now, you wouldn't normally think that a truck like this would go around a corner, but the fact that it does is quite remarkable. You have all this power that you can utilize anytime you want, and I mean, don't kid yourself, it's not a sports car, but the fact that you can throw it into a corner, the fact that it never feels like it's really pushing that bad is pretty impressive. You know, the paddles do make it fun. It makes you feel like you're driving something that's probably 1,000 pounds lighter than what it is. Now, one of the things that shouldn't come as a surprise on this thing is the fuel mileage. I mean, around town, you're talking 14 miles to the gallon. On the highway, you're talking 19. That's a combined somewhere in the neighborhood of around 16 or so. It's got a supercharger on it. It's gonna suck down fuel. If you're looking for something that's an economy car, you know, buy a hybrid SUV. This is not the one for you. But if you're looking for something that's a lot of fun, more fun than it should be, you might want to give this thing a look.